During the Nintendo DS era, hacking was at its absolute peak, especially with a flash cartridge called the R4. This unassuming cartridge, which fit right into the DS game slot, could hold entire libraries of games, emulators for classic consoles, homebrew applications, and so much more, all on a simple micro SD card. The impact of the R4 was massive. Suddenly, owning a single R4 meant you had access to potentially hundreds, even thousands of games without needing to buy individual cartridges. For consumers, especially younger audiences, this was incredibly appealing. However, from Nintendo's perspective, they were understandably furious because why would you buy an official game when you can download hundreds for free? And if you know anything about Nintendo, is that they go all out. They are merciless. And the reason why I mentioned this segment is to show that Nintendo has always dealt with hackers like this for the longest time. Now fast forward to 2025 and we're seeing a very similar situation unfold with the recent bans targeting users of devices like the MiG Switch or other flash cartridges. These tools, much like the R4 of the past, allow users to load unauthorized softwares, in this case game ROMs, into their brand new Nintendo Switch consoles. And just like they did on the DS, Nintendo is responding with console bans. And this isn't just about blocking online access, it can actively render the console significantly less useful. The error code 21244508 is the modern equivalent of the DS failing to recognize an R4 card, but with far more severe consequences. The reason behind these aggressive bans are likely the same as they were during the DS era, but potentially even more amplified in today's digital market. The first reason is protecting the software sales. Nintendo relies heavily on software sales through their eShop and physical cartridges. Unauthorized devices directly threaten this revenue stream, which could impact them in the future. The second thing is maintaining platform integrity. Allowing unauthorized software can introduce security, vulnerabilities, and potentially impacting the online ecosystem and the experience for legitimate users. The next reason is upholding developer rights. Nintendo has a responsibility to protect the intellectual property of the game developers who create content for their platform. Piracy undermines their work with the entire game development ecosystem. There is also setting a precedent. By acting swiftly and decisively with the Switch 2, Nintendo is sending a clear message to users that unauthorized modifications will not be tolerated on their new hardware. They learned from the DS era and they are likely going to try and prevent a similar level of widespread unauthorized use of their latest console from the outset. And finally, there is the updated contract. Don't forget that Nintendo updated their user agreement rights before the Switch 2 launch, explicitly stating their right to render devices unusable for unauthorized use. This gives them a strong legal base for these bans, which is something that they lacked during the R4 era. So the story of the Switch 2 bans isn't entirely new. Nintendo dealt with issues like this for the longest, including the Nintendo DS era, with devices like the R4. While this technology has evolved, the core conflict remains the same: the tension between user freedom and Nintendo's desire to control their platform and protect their intellectual property. Now, I understand that a lot of people hate Nintendo, and understandably so. They have had a lot of shady stories in the past, and they've always been quite cruel with people. But I do believe that this is a point that is fair on Nintendo because it is their actual property, and it's still a brand new one. If it was something like old games that are not even usable anymore, then I would be more understandable in that regard. What are your thoughts on these bans? Do you think that they are justified, or is Nintendo going too far? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.